What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can probably guess, I'm not in the UK, I'm somewhere a little different. Let's jump straight in, shall we? Now, as you probably guessed, I'm not in the motorhome and I'm not in the UK right now. I'm currently on holiday in Albania for a few days with a few friends. We've just come out here, a bit of a cheap deal away, got an apartment, which I'm on the balcony of, and there's the sun and the sand and the sea, all beautiful. I'm sure it's probably wet, miserable and cold where you are right now, but don't worry, I'm back there right now. By this time it's going out, so I'll be there with you. But for this video, I'm not there. I'm enjoying a little bit of a last minute sun with some friends away, but I thought I would do a Q&A because obviously I can do that here. I can answer your questions, and I've had a stack of questions over the last couple of weeks and months really. I love doing these kind of Q&As because I love you guys dropping questions in the comments and asking stuff, and if I can answer them there and then quick and easy, then I will. And I love taking a load of these and then putting them together in a video. I mean, that really ultimately was where Motorhome Mondays was born, because I had so many questions coming in and I wanted to answer them for everyone and then let everyone find out the information and help as many people as possible. So let's jump in without further ado. Question one, it wouldn't be one of these Q&A videos if this question didn't come up, so I'm just going to get rid of it straight away. Where do you dispose of your black and your grey waste whilst living in a motorhome and on the road? Well, campsites, basically. When I was in one area and I was working, because now I've gone full time, I've been away, I was a lorry driver, I've been away from that now for 2.5 years, coming up to 3 years. But when I was in a certain area, I did have a few contacts, so I had a little farm and they'd let me go and put it in there. There was a few campsites within the surrounding area and they knew that I was local, they knew what I was doing, and they did let me go and empty my waste for a small fee. Kind of like under the table kind of deal, because not many campsites do it. Some do, worth a shot, giving them a call saying, look, I'm swinging through the area, can I empty my cassette? Now the grey waste, I'll just put that down a drain or on the grass somewhere, preferably away from people. You don't want to be doing it outside someone's driveway. That's not normal or the proper procedure. Don't do that. Do it away from people, but down a drain, as you know, park straight over it, open it straight down the drain, and you're good to go. I mean, you're not throwing nuclear waste down there, so it's nothing too terrible going down. So yeah, that's the way to do that. But to be honest, where do I get rid of my empty my cassette and get rid of anything now? It's built into a regular stop at a campsite, usually once every 10 to 14 days. So that's where I get rid of mine. Second question is, how do you and others feel about buying older motorhomes, 2003, 2004? So that's what the person's asked. Obviously they're looking at that kind of thing. Now my motorhome, when I first bought it, was a 2005. That really done me well. I mean, Pete, my friend, he's still rocking around in that motorhome and it's still doing him perfectly fine. He's loving it. He's just gone from, I think this summer he went over to France and he went all the way to Switzerland in the land yacht, not the land yacht, I'm in the land yacht, in the Swift, in the Sundance. So still running around. It's a 2005 model. I think they're fine as long as, you know, they've been looked after. They might have a lot higher mileage than motorhomes are used to, but on the whole, that's not really a problem for the vans. It's just making sure that everything inside's fine. I'd get a habitation check, I'd get a service, do the cam belts and all this and that. I'm not a mechanic, but I would do that. Probably the water pump at the same time. I'm pretty sure that you do that. But I haven't got anything wrong with older motorhomes. As long as they've been taken care of, you should be fine, but just do your research and double check everything. Next question is, do you have any parking issues with your large vehicle in small car parks? Now, if you've got a big motorhome and a small car park, it's not going to work, is it? That being said, I recently did a park up in Sleaford, and that was a pretty small pub stop car park, and I did back down to the back of it and then just took the back end of the car park. So it is possible, but on the whole, if it's a small car park, then you're not going to park a big motorhome. Now I'm 8.5 meters, so you know you've got to take that into consideration. But you know, I still find plenty of places. I can still wild camp. I show many videos on the channel of me driving around, finding places to park. So that's still possible. Big car parks, you know, like big supermarkets, I've done plenty of videos using like the apps to park in them. So yeah, it's you know, I don't want to be rude, but it's just common sense. If it's a small car park and you've got a big vehicle, not easy. So you're going to have to park a little bit further out or find some alternative places to park. Next question is, can you park overnight in pub stops if you buy a meal? Now I love pub stops, and I did just mention it in the previous question that I was recently at one. Now I haven't had any of them say no. So what the way I mainly do it is I find a pub stop. Well, it is a pub stop because I will be stopping there, but I find a pub on, like say, Google Maps. I zoom in, have a little look, make sure there's a big enough car park, and then I'll just give the pub a call and say, hey, I'm swinging through the area, I've got a motorhome, I want to pop in, is it okay if I stay in your car park for the night? I'm going to pop in, have a drink, have something to eat. Now, I haven't had any of them say no, so it's perfect, it's easy, it's great, and you're allowed to be there because they've said you can stay there and everything, so it's good, it's a nice place. It's a good way to step into wild camping and thingy, and I mentioned this in my book about wild camping in a motorhome and avoiding the knock. I'll leave that in the description below. £28 plus for a night at a campsite, that adds up fast. Now, I love campsites, but I'm not always on them. I'm usually wild camping, and I know a lot of you want to do exactly the same. That's why I wrote this book, How to Wild Camp in a Motorhome Without the Knock, the No Knock Guide. You can grab your copy in the link below. Pub stops are a fantastic way to get your, you know, your first step into wild camping, because you can be there. Now, do you have to spend, you know, buy a 3-course meal and loads of rounds of drinks? No. I would say you need to go and buy something because they're giving you, you know, the place to stop and this and that. And at the end of the day, they're a business. They need to survive. So, you know, you've got to help them out. So that can be done in a few ways. You can go in and have your dinner in there and a drink. You could go in and have starters in there and a drink, and then go back to the van and then have your dinner in the van. Or you could have your dinner in the van and then go in and just have a dessert in there or something. Or you could just go in and have a couple of drinks. At the end of the day, you're not obligated to buy, you know, tons and tons of, you know, amounts and food and all this and that. Some places do ask you to buy a meal. You get a free park up with a meal. There are some places that do that, which again, more than fine if they lay it out straight up at the front, and you know you can either make this decision to stay there or to go somewhere else. But yeah, do help them out because pub stops are great. Next question is, are you becoming the campsite motorhomer? Because I've done a few campsite videos lately and I'm called the urban motorhome, but am I going to just go to campsites now? Now I love a campsite, don't get me wrong, and I love showing new campsites and things that are, you know, nice places, good locations for, you know, then going into places or go here, there or everywhere. So yeah, I do love them, and I build campsites into my regular routine. So like I just said in one of the previous questions about, you know, emptying my toilet cassette, filling up with the water, emptying my rubbish, having nice showers, charging, doing my laundry, I build that kind of thing in. So campsites are great, and yeah, I'm always going to go to campsites. Now, am I going to start using them more so? No, I do wild camping all the time. But in festival season, I'm a lot of showgrounds, so I'm there between them. But predominantly, I like wild camping. You know, I can stop here, there, and everywhere as I'm bopping around wherever I am. And I love wild camping. And you know, to be brutally honest, the cost of campsites is not going down anytime soon, and I don't think it ever will now. So we've got to a level where campsites are really becoming quite expensive. So if you are doing like a 4 or 5 day trip or a couple of week trip, building in a couple of wild camping stops in amongst all that just helps bring the cost down. Even if you're doing pub stops, you're getting some food and a stop for that, you know, rather than just a stop. So it can help, you know, spread the cost and make make the whole trip a little bit cheaper and more cost effective, to be fair. So yeah, I love campsites, but no, I'm not going fully to campsites. I am still the urban motorhome. Next question is a bit of a combination because I've had a few different ones, so I've kind of combined it. So it's, how do you stay happy in the motorhome and not get cabin fever? I'm really lucky. That's the bottom line, and I know it's a sucky answer because it doesn't help you, but I am very, very lucky that I can sit in a room or in the motorhome for days, even a week on end, and just potter around with my to-do list and doing things, bits and bobs, and working online and messing around with photos or videos and this, that and the other, and little projects. Now, I get myself stuck into quite a lot of stuff, to be fair, and I've always got something on my to-do list. My to-do list at the moment, whilst I'm here on holiday, my to-do list is huge. And they've all gone for a nap right now. The people that I'm in the apartment with, they're all napping before we go out for dinner. Now I've just done a couple of hours on the MacBook, answering emails and sorting collaborations and things and that out. And then I'm doing this now. So I'm always doing something, and that keeps my brain occupied. That, and I've got a good support network. If I want to have a chat or something, me and Tash regularly have a chat every now and again, and it might be like a video chat or just a phone call, but we might just be on the line and we're working at the same time, but then every now and again we'll talk and that. But it's just having someone there to talk to and bounce ideas and just talk rubbish, basically. I've always got a phone book full of people. My friends in this community are fantastic, so I can always shoot off a message and say, are you about, what you're up to, or how's things going, and just catch up and have a chat with them. But also get out the motorhome. Now, like I say, I'm very lucky. I could sit in a room inside the motorhome or wherever and occupy my time and all this and that and not go stir crazy. Other people are not as lucky as me, and they're not, they can't do that. And I fully understand that, and I, respect that. So get out, go do what makes you feel happy. Go for a walk, go for a coffee somewhere, go find a library, go take your laptop and do some work in the library, or go there to do some work. Go to the cinema, go anywhere, do anything like that. Whatever that can bring you out of it. That obviously you've got to be within reason. You can't be going to Disneyland every week. If that's what would bring you out of a slump, then go do it. But I would say hobbies, to be fair. Have a little hobby, whether it be, I don't know, Pokemon cards. I like Pokemon cards, but no, like photography, or travel, or bird spotting, or out looking at trees and leaves, and I don't know, anything. It gets you out, gets your mind occupied. Yeah, I mean, even sometimes I will go for just a little walk around the supermarket. I know that sounds stupid and sounds weird, but I have a little look, I browse. It just gets my brain away from other stuff. And yeah, I might end up buying a few little bits which I might not need, or I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner, so I just go and aimlessly walk around the supermarket for 20 minutes, half an hour, because it's just a time to just focus on that and nothing else. What am I going to cook tonight? I could have this, or I'm going to have a bit of a picky dinner, and have something. I'm going to have that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and it's just something to occupy the brain. But yeah, if you do need help, make sure you reach out to people, reach out to your friends and family. Don't just sit there on your own and go stir crazy and suffer. But yeah, reach out. Next question. That was quite a long answer, to be fair, but I do think it's important to help people and go into that, because I don't want people struggling. No one wants that. It's not nice for having people to struggle and sit there on their own in a bad situation when their head's not in the right place. So yeah, don't do that. Next question: will you upgrade the motorhome to a bigger one to make family visits easier? Now, this is probably referring to my previous video, which was in Wellington Country Park with my mum and Liam when they come and stayed. Now, that was brilliant. I did get, I gave them the bed. I said in that video, I put the thumbnails, I got kicked out, which was kicked out my bed. Now, I did give them the bed. They didn't, they weren't kicking me out of the bed at all. And I had the front seat, the recliner seats at the front, because I've done lorry driving. I've been sleeping in chairs for years. It's not a problem, and it was only a couple of nights. Now, would I get a bigger motorhome on that basis? No, I wouldn't, because they're not going to come away with me that often. Now, even if they come away with me 4 times a year, once every quarter, that's only 4 occasions, and it'll probably be only for 2-3 nights. that I have to, air quotes, suffer the cramped space. Now, when I say cramped space, it's not really that cramped. We are, you know, I've got a 8.5 metre motorhome. It's pretty spacious in there. But if we are running on that, then it's only if they did come and do 4 stops a year for 2 nights a time, then, you know, we're doing 8 nights that I've got to, you know, like I say, suffer some discomfort. But it's not. It's fun. It's great. And yeah, I don't think I would base my on that aspect. I wouldn't change my motorhome based on the potential of just, you know, 4. Now this year they've only come with and stayed with me once for 2 nights. So if that was to happen again next year, then I would change my motorhome for the sake of 2 nights. It's not worth it. I could put them up in the Hilton for a hell of a lot cheaper than changing the motorhome and all the accessories that I've got and all the modifications I've done. It'd be so much cheaper just to put them in the Hilton. Now, if my mum is watching this and Liam's watching this, no, I'm not putting you up in the Hilton next time we go out. So let's just make that clear. That's not happening. To be fair, this is one of the things that I see a lot of people talk about when they're like looking for a motorhome. They think about the grandkids and the kids. Now, if you've got kids and they're well within age that you're going to be going for the next 3, 4, 5 years, then yeah, obviously you've got to think about them into the equation. Now, if you've got kids that are like 14, 15, 16 years old, then maybe not, you know, take them into consideration as much, because they're going to be doing all their own stuff. Depends on how long you often keep your motorhome. If you're planning on keeping it for 5, maybe 10 years, which I think I could keep my one for, you aren't going to want to base, you know, a decision, a 5-year, 10-year decision on the fact that, you know, that you've got kids that might only come for the next year and a half. And the same with grandkids. If you're only going to have them 3, 4 times a year for a weekend, don't base your motorhome layout and choice on that. You know, I'd rather, like I say, suffer for a weekend and you know, struggle through it and make it, you know, just make the best of it, rather than change a whole layout and design of what I'm going to choose because the grandkids might come and stay 2, 3 times a year. I wouldn't do that. Next question is, how do you manage family and relationships on the road? To be fair, I am a single guy. I was going to say single Pringle, just because that popped into my head. But yeah, I am a single guy. I do live alone on the road. I'm not opposed to finding a partner. If she come along, then perfect. But I do live a very unique lifestyle where I'm always traveling, I'm always on the go. So finding someone would probably have to be within this kind of niche, within van life and traveling and that kind of thing, because of the way I travel. But like I say, not opposed to that. That'd be pretty cool, to be fair. It would be really nice to travel with someone and you know, go to dinner and go explore new places and basically explore loads of food. That's what it boils down to, exploring loads of places to eat. You know, I mean, there's some great places here. We've been out already, and there's some fantastic places, which would be nice to do with someone. And then, you know, you get to experience that together. But in regards of, like, you know, how do I manage friendships and family, then it would be, you know, just staying in touch on like WhatsApp and on my phone, texting them regularly, have phone calls, and then have video calls. I video call my family quite a lot. You know, I video call them and I'm like, put Liam on. Don't want to talk to you lot, put Liam on. And me and Liam have a chat, and then Liam shows me something and I show him something, and I'll send Liam a TikTok video because I saw a funny cat do something or whatever. But it's just, again, staying in touch with your friends, family, and, you know, close ones, because we do have the technology available to us, and yeah, we take full advantage of it. Next question. Is van life sustainable long term with rising costs and rules? Yeah, well, I hope so, because I'm planning on doing it for a very long time. So yeah, there are restrictions coming in, places do get stopped. Now again, this is something I talk about in the book. It's about, you know, respecting places, do things polite, legal, and respectful, and what you would do in your mum's street or your nan's street, do everywhere else. You know, don't be a silly sausage. Well, you know, I put it a bit less polite in the book, but don't burn out park ups. Don't outstay welcome. Don't get your table and chairs out and have a barbecue outside the van on, you know, a nice beach park up, because that's not a campsite. That's not what they're for. Come on, you know, that's what get these places, you know, double yellowed and height barriers. That's what happens. With rising costs, yeah, costs are going up. That's in every walk of life. I don't know, just going to have to see what happens, to be fair. I can't predict the future, but I can't see anything getting really cheaper, be it in any walk of life, be it if you have bricks and mortar or have a van. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. I'm not too sure. So I want it to be sustainable and go on forever, because I love this lifestyle. I really do, and I don't see myself leaving it anytime soon. This is a good one. And I think most of you probably guess I'll say something different, but I might surprise you here. One upgrade all motorhomers should have. Now, most people will probably suggest that I would say probably lithium batteries and solar and all that. And yes, if you're full time, then yeah, I would say that a full system setup to be off grid would be what I say. But to all motorhomers, whether you're just weekend warriors or you go on a little bit of a trip or you are full time, and if you are a motorhome owner, then I would say a motorhome specific sat nav. I would tell everyone to go get one of them, because driving a motorhome, whether it's, you know, 6 meters or, you know, 9.5 meters, 9 meters, it can be stressful. They're very expensive bits of kit. Whether you bought it brand new or new to you, doesn't matter. They're very expensive bits of kit. Even if you got given a motorhome, if you crack the bumper, they're a fortune. If you bang the window with a tree going down a country lane, they cost an absolute bomb to replace parts. You need to be, protecting them, and the easiest way to do that is make it as stress-free as possible, and that's by not following Google Maps and using a motorhome specific sat nav. Now, I use a TomTom Go Camper Max. I love it. It works really well. It's got great lane separation and tells you. The only one thing it didn't do, which I'm peeved at, and I don't know why it's not turned on by default, is it doesn't warn you if you're about to go into or your route goes into a chargeable zone. You have to turn that feature on. Now, why would you not want to know that? Come on, TomTom. Everyone wants to know that. Everyone wants to know if they're going to be charged for where they're driving, right? Come on. So apart from that little gripe, and I got charged £100. I went into a ULEZ. Now, yeah, I mean, it's a whole other story, but if that had told me and Bleep said, hey, don't go this way because it would charge you, then, I would have not gone that way straight up. But yeah, by the time I got there and the sign was there, I was already in it and I couldn't turn around. So I got charged £100. But yeah, motorhome specific sat nav where you can put your heights, widths, weights, all in there, and then it can take you down a nice road and make it a lot simpler for you. Now, obviously, there's various different models out there and various different reviews. So go out, do some reviews, and read some reviews, watch a few videos. But definitely, I would say a motorhome specific sat nav. Next question, and this is quite a big one, and I had to think about it, to be fair. What is the hardest part of van life that you never expected and you didn't know about going into it, and that you found after doing van life for so long? Now, I had to have quite a think about this because I don't really find much, but then I really thought about it and did put some thought into it, and I would say the biggest challenge I didn't expect, and I don't think many people talk about, is the mental drain and the decision fatigue you get from full-time traveling on the road. Now, what I mean by that is you're always doing something. There's always a running list in your brain. It's like, where am I parking now? What am I doing now? Do I need water? Do I need gas? Do I need to fill up the fuel tank? Is the diesel heat all right? Is the fridge running okay? Where am I parking next week? When am I doing the laundry? How much is in the cassette? Do I need to, empty the grey tank? The list goes on and on and on. And it's very weird because in a house, now I've never owned a house, I just lived at my mum's and then I moved out and then moved straight into a motorhome. But I assume them problems still exist to people that run households. you know, but it's not, there's none of that really is running out, because, you know, now I know some people are on electric meters and things like that, but the gas is always there, the electric's always there, you know, you don't need a park up, so you don't have to think about that. You know where you got to go home and to and from every day. You don't need to think about your toilet because it just disappears. Your bins get collected every week. The only things you really need to top up is your food and things. So now, don't get me wrong, I'm really simplifying things, and people might be screaming at me going, well, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. Yeah, fine, I get it. You know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows that I'm making out there, but the decisions and constant toll on your brain of constantly thinking about where you're going, your decisions and what's going next is quite tiring. It really is. So every now and again I do like to just stop on a campsite for 3 or 4 days if I can, because it is draining. It really is. And that's something I never heard anyone talk about. It's never what I expected. And it's, you know, freedom on the road. Yeah, I can go travel anywhere I want. I can go to, you know, Scotland if I want, and I go park up there for a couple of weeks. It sounds fantastic, and it is, and I'm not bad-mouthing it at all, and I know I'm in a privileged position, but there is a double-edged sword to it. Being able to make that decision, but then you have to make 101 other decisions, and you've got a list a mile long, constantly on in your head. So when you do lay down at night and you're like, yeah, go and sleep, you're then thinking, am I parked all right? Well, you know, and also things like when you leave the motorhome, is the van all right? Is it going to be okay there? I hope no one's going near it. Is it okay? Is it? And again, it's just constant. So again, I love this lifestyle, but that is quite a one that I never really thought about, to be fair. And you know what? I have not even mentioned the battery anxiety that people have, and I used to have. Unless you've got like lithium and you're off grid and you've built your system, you know, accordingly to yourself. You know, the battery anxiety is the battery's going to last? Am I going to need to go and charge them? How am I going to charge them? Where am I going to charge them? Oh, what happens if what am I going to do? How am I going to cook dinner? How am I going to do? Insane. It really is when you really think about it, and I've sat and thought. It's, yeah, the decisions that you have to make living full time on the road for weeks, months, years. Now, this is my 9th year I've been doing this, and honestly, it does get tiring. So, not that I would change it, but I want to be, you know, very open and honest with you guys and let you all know that is something that I didn't know about van life, and I thought, yeah, that's quite one. That is something hard to deal with, and I didn't know it, and I never expected it. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. The last question is, have you finalised your European trip and the countries that you're going to? Yes, I have. But where I'm going in them countries is not set in stone at all. So as soon as the NEC is done, I'm heading over to Europe, and I'm going to be heading to France, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany and Luxembourg. They're the 5 countries I'm going to be heading to. I'm not chasing winter sun or anything like that. Heading over there from, like say, the end of October, probably the last couple of days of October, until probably just before Christmas. So maybe Christmas Eve, or, you know, 23rd, 24th. And then I'll come back and then have Christmas with the family. So I have asked for your recommendations of where I should go, but now I've nailed down the countries. I need your food recommendations within them countries. Anywhere that you've got a good food place, and especially if you've got a park up to go with it, I want to know in the comment section below. Please, please, please help me with where to go, and I want to experience some really good food. I know I'm going to be over there for some Christmas markets, so I'm going to do some of those. If there's anything else you want to see while I'm over there, then do tell me, let me know, because I want to take you guys along on this trip. I'm definitely going to go find lots of food. That is, I mean, it wasn't a shock, really, was it? Come on, you know I like food. It's no shock. But yeah, going to go over there and find some good places to visit, good park ups, good things to do, and some good food. What more could I want? Hey, what more could I want? That is it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed that. I've got through quite a lot of questions. I did waffle on a bit. Hopefully Luke's edited it. It looks all right because I can waffle on. I really can, like I'm doing right now. If you've got any burning questions that I haven't answered, drop it in the comments below. It can be about anything, about me, travel, motorhomes, van life, food, anything. Drop it in the comment section below. I'll add it to the list. I'll try and answer in the comment section, and I might chuck it on a video, another one of these videos very shortly. If any of you are interested about how to wild camp in a motorhome and you want to start doing it, then I have written the book, How to Wild Camp in a Motorhome. What a title, eh? What a title. I thought of that all by myself. I have done over 3,000 park ups and I've never had to knock. So if you want to learn how to wild camp in your motorhome or camper van, starting from 0 to hero, I just made that up as well, then definitely check out the link in the description below. You can grab that from my website. Every book really does help me out. Yeah, I really appreciate anyone that does buy the book. And on that note of you lovely, lovely lot, I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, bye.